What's up, family? It's Gerard Henry, sitting here with Bishop Wellington Boone, the founder and visionary of New Generation Campus Ministries, now Global Outreach Campus Ministries. And many of you, like myself, have been impacted. Our lives literally changed as a result of what God has given this man of God. And so we want to talk with him a little bit as we're approaching another conference. How many years has this been going on now, Bishop?
Oh boy, I hadn't
Over
really
20,
thought about
right?
it. It's been over 20 years. I mean, actually, I can think about this about 1980. Actually, Eileen Hunt was the first one that saw putting this vision in action. We saw that all these other major majority race people like Campus Crusade and
Right.
Campus Life and all those, the white community basically, they were reaching that emerging new young generation in college. But I looked around, I said there were none reaching African American schools. And so that was a concern of mine. I felt the Lord said, you're responsible for that.
Wow. So how did that impact the local church at that time? Because you started it in Virginia, correct?
Yeah, at that time, you looked at who you had around you, and numbers of them were already in school because we started out with seminars, and Eileen Hunt was coming to those seminars, and she would get some of those students and bring them to those seminars, and they would take those messages back to the campuses, and it began impacting some of those campuses. And we said, well, we need to be official. We really needed to have them doing that in schools.
Sure.
So actually, it wasn't really an African-American school at first. It was actually Virginia Commonwealth University in Richmond, and that's where it really started.
So the fabric of even the foundation of your church, woven in the fabric of that was campus ministry.
It was campus ministry because, and let's face it, there are two times in a person's life that they seem to be impacted in terms of their worldview. One, at age 5, they transition when they leave their parents' house and they start going to school in the public. And then secondly is when they leave the high school to go to campus. Many studies show that then in those times, they open up and their exposure level becomes extremely different. When they leave their parents' house and they go to those elementary schools, and then when they leave those high schools to go to college, usually oftentimes it's away from the safety of their home or even the comfort of their home. And they open themselves up to those professors, and they transition sometimes in their worldview, or they're enlightened or enhanced by college in terms of what happens there in that exposure.
So when you think about the NGM days, I mean, there was a time when, from the 80s, when you began laying a foundation, that there was an acceleration and things began to take off. Talk to me about those times, and did you find it to be overwhelming?
Well, no, I thought right away that God has something to say to those students who were learning. And I didn't see it as a matter of religion. I wanted to know, could the Bible be applied in a way that students could understand it into those areas that they were going to go into? And I said, I wasn't going to see God being left out.
That's good.
So we went right after them. And we discovered that by giving them the word, showing that it applied to law, civil government, education, science, and that at the essence of their life was some kind of thinking, what we call, biblical worldview, meaning that you argue from the Bible to the issue, the Bible to where you work. So our goal was to reach those people and to be strong about it, and to get them out of and just an understanding that the Bible is something that you do in a church on Sunday.
Right.
This thing is what you do in life. It's
Right.
what you live,
Yeah.
not just a Sunday service.
And I think as new converts, you feel that in your heart, but nobody necessarily tells you that, so you conform to just the Sunday component of your worship expression versus the daily component. My introduction to you was through Dean Nelson and Monica Coates at the time, and the message that you preach and what just grabbed my heart was that they that know their God shall be strong and do exploits. And you made me feel and believe that, you know what, I can make a difference on my campus. I felt it on the inside, and I had the mentality from the region that I came from to dominate, so to speak.
Yes, sir.
But for you to give me a biblical, for lack of a better term, justification
That's a good.
to go for was tremendous. What were some of the things that you felt like blessed your heart to see as it relates to the students and what God did, particularly in the late '80s, early '90s?
Well, first of all, I saw that this word of taking the Bible and applying it to life and then living it so it could be seen and read, meaning that we didn't leave our brains on the other side of being saved.
Right.
You understand? It's like you're saved and all of a sudden you become stupid. That wasn't the case. I saw that by putting it out strong like that, you drew the cream of the crops of the students, meaning that you guys in those campuses, like in your school, for example, the University of Maryland, you not only had a strong chapter, but you had strong accountability. And then you set the bar, meaning that you not only were religious, you're saying that this Bible became the presuppositional premises for being a great student. So you were academically strong, but then also you guys did serving kind of things too.
Sure.
You obeyed the professor. Then you had study groups that you formed and things like that. And your school, for example, had a cumulative average of 3.4 out of 120 people coming. I tell you, that left a mark in me, and that I'll never forget. And then numbers of the students who now are out in the marketplace right now are doing tremendous out there. So I find that you guys were not only embracing the Bible, you were saying, I'm going to set the example in the school of ethics, of good study habits, of relationship building, understanding how life itself works. And that left a mark on me, and I saw that you guys had character. The other thing I really loved is that we didn't draw you away from your parents and your people and your families. You guys may have become radical in terms of the Bible, but this means you were better sons and better daughters, and your parents could tell there was a difference. And as a result of how you guys were as students, this is the other thing, we formed something called New Generation Associates, which means the parents got involved to try to be an adult infrastructure to you, letting you have freedom, not just coming on campus or just trying to control you. They financially helped. They formed a whole nother element that tried to undergird the campus ministry. I thought that was awesome, but I think that the witness of that was from the competencies that they saw in their children.
That's true. Awesome.